Be original. If I could tell myself what to do since the beginning of my time on this planet, I would say it's being original. And I can say this confidently because I've done that for the majority's sake. But I've also taken the conventional path like everyone else. Going to college, getting a job, white collar, six figures, all the things, right? But I've also done this in a way that's purely my way. The reason this matters is very simple. If I took the traditional path trying to compete against everyone without doing my own version of creativity, my own version of what is original, right? Then I would be maybe in the same spot as many others. But what's the differentiator? Why would someone pick somebody who, from a pool of applicants, let's say 100 people or even 1,000, all of them have the best degrees in the world, the best majors in the world? In other words, the topic of study, which maybe turns into a revenue making potential for a business that's hiring for a job, right? In the end, you can pick like a slot machine randomly, and you'll probably pick a good candidate given that they're qualified. But how do we know? Let's say fast forward 2 weeks, 2 months, maybe 2 years from now, right? Or heck, even 2 decades, right? Is that individual going to be around? Are they contributing to the company? Are they doing all these things? And yeah, maybe their track record says, hey, they went to a 4 year college degree, right? They're undergrad. Maybe they did a master's, maybe an MBA. Maybe they've had internships and work experience along the way. So it looks like, okay, on paper, this person wants to be here. They want to be doing this thing. But there's a lot of people like that. There's not just, one or the other. And the fact is, especially today compared to before, when, I hadn't even gone to college by then, where there were times where you get a degree, you get a job, and that was understood. But here we have a lot more supply than demand for jobs in the labor market, you could say, or just demand from folks that are willing to pay someone to delegate some scope of responsibilities, which is basically a job, right? So for me, in my life, creativity wise, if you say, who is Lalit Devraj, right? Take away all the labels of society, right? Well, in my life, what I like to do is I love to beatbox, which is making music with your mouth. You don't need any money, you don't need anything, you can just do it on your own. You can learn from free online with all the resources. And the point is, when you look at the first qualifications, right, of those folks that are trying to get into college, right? Maybe nowadays, especially a 4.0 GPA from high school, it's for the top level of schools, it's understood. Maybe your SATs or ACTs are perfect. Maybe you took subject tests if that's still a thing, right? And you're trying to academically say, I'm the number one, I'm the smartest. But the thing is, everyone is the smartest nowadays. So what is the next step, right? How do you differentiate yourself? So due to this thing that I just like to do is my hobby, I never thought much of it. But the understanding was, okay, hey, maybe I would not have gotten into college if I wasn't beatboxing. And the reason is, when you look at non-academics, right, especially in college admissions, traditionally speaking, after everyone has great grades, what's the real USP or unique selling point? Where when you think of college as a business, if I'm choosing someone to study in my institution or what have us, it's about what ROI, return on investment, am I gonna get? Now the truth is, of course, you're paying your actual fees, tuition fees, right, to the university slash college. But the truth is, for them to get in like a Ponzi scheme, like a pyramid, when you realize, okay, hey, why do you go to that top 10 school? Oh, it's top 10 because they have the most percentage of placements after graduation. Example, in my graduating class, there was a 96% placement in my major for jobs, which now it's 20% for Stanford, I heard recently, and that blew my mind. So that difference over kind of a stretch of 10 years is, 10 years passes by just like that, and I don't know how it looks for like the kids that are here today, right? Like actually going through it, but I do know that I don't know what it was like 20 years ago where maybe it was, I don't know, 100, 105% placement. Who knows, right? Because there were that many jobs in the economy. So the point is, I got into college with the understanding that because of what differentiated me of maybe, hey, this person's going to do not more than just be a person who gets this degree, gets their job, doesn't do anything else, and the school really doesn't get any fame after the fact. It could be that, hey, this person is overreaching. Maybe they're trying to do more than just the job or just a degree. Maybe they're going to be the next founder of, just an example, being based out of Atlanta, Georgia in America. Hey, the next founder of Home Depot. Hey, Chick-fil-A. Hey, Coca-Cola. Georgia Pacific is here too, right? Delta Airlines. So all of this to say, right? that in the end, there was step one of me getting in, and that kind of identification to myself of, wow, maybe I wouldn't have gotten in with, stellar grades only. Maybe I would have. But I was doing this because I wanted to. It was me being my authentic self and the people around me, right? Apart from everyone in the same room, having the same degrees, the same laureates, right? It's about who are you? Like if you say, give me 3 fun facts about yourself, instead of the many people being, oh my God, I'm so shy. The point is, what do you have to say about yourself? That's your brand. Like, who are you, right? So if you take away that, if this is the second channel for me, which is true, the main channel I talk about maybe personal finance concepts, more money principles, stuff like this. So there, what it is to me, it's online, that A, it's my name. You look, for me online, you will find me in different realms, whether it's more of comedy skit videos just for fun, maybe beatboxing stuff, maybe these type of videos, right? Personal mindset development, how to level up yourself, how to be the best version of yourself, all these things, right? So the point is, me expressing my authentic self is saying, hey, I wish I knew a lot of things before, and it's okay that I don't. Instead of being, oh, the government sucks, the system sucks, people in my town suck, like, yeah, all of those reasons, being the victim is great, but what's next, right? When you're original, you realize, okay, if I followed the path that the number one lawyer or the number one trader on Wall Street, you can follow that path, right? And there's no guarantees, but you have this heuristic, this standard of, hey, if I do this, then this happens, right? Especially when it comes to entertainment, there's no guarantee. You want a viral video on YouTube, this video could do it, right? But this video could also get no views, right? So that's just the algorithm. But the point is, I would be doing this anyways, right? In a perfect world, right? And of course, in the end of the day, is it like, hey, there's ads on these videos and I get paid? Sure, right? That's great. And that's an incentive. But the point is, when I think about, hey, fast forward, I have a child, let's say, or multiple, or I need to look at my younger self to say, wow, this person was thinking clearly, sharply, confidently, they were doing things, they were able to do things, they're thinking about what's next, right? That power, right? Reminding yourself that you didn't just come here by doing a bunch of random stuff, like maybe you did, right? But in the end, you must be proud of something, or you're working towards something, or you will be proud of something. Because there's that expression, right? Like a man without purpose is basically useless. It's nothing, right? Because you're just a vestibule, right, to carry out something, whether that's man, woman, human, what have us, right? So being original in my personal life, without it, I would not be here. So from beatboxing to wanting to act in TV, film, and in theater, like that was me wanting to do my version of expression. And fast forward to YouTube, if you look at it like, hey, maybe I love making money and I make money a certain way, but maybe this, right, is my way of saying maybe I'm not on Broadway, maybe I'm not in Hollywood, but I'm able to speak to the camera, right, do my thing, right, and I'm happy to do it. And I would say that if I wasn't able to do this right here, right now, right, then I'd be trying to get in front of maybe a different camera or a different audience. In other words, me just living and being, right, spreading the joy, the gratitude, and most of all for me, it's knowledge, because if you have all the knowledge from when you're a youngster, right, the world would be different in terms of your outcome. The reason is information used to be what was priceless because you couldn't get it unless it was from another human or scripture/books, right? Back then there was no internet. Now every Tom, Dick, and Harry has information. It's the information age. But with so much information around us, there's overwhelm, overload, all those things, right? But in the end, now that information is already out there, what's the other step, right? If AI can tell us, ChatGPT, Claudes of the world, tell me this, tell me that, and they tell you not just what it is, they tell you the issues with it, they tell you, do you want more information? So you have your personal assistant basically in life. So if that's all everyone's original experiences now just kind of made into this, spreadsheet or tabular kind of bullet point list of, hey, this is what are the inputs, that go into this next thing, then how do you be even more original, right? The real answer is you can try a bunch of things and you can try everything, right? And in the end, you still will be original because it's how you execute those steps. It's who you met along the way. And really, it's about human connection because it's about who you know in the end of the day. But if you're going to execute in any which way where you're just copying someone else, right? Thinking that this person did this, so if I copy all the steps, I'm going to be there. There's no guarantee. And sometimes you may supersede that initial person, right? But the idea would be maybe you copied them, maybe you did it that much better, maybe you looked at competitors in the industry, maybe you repackaged certain things. So obviously I can give you a YouTube example of just, you've probably seen videos that are really similar to maybe this type of title or this type of, thinking or topic, right? And what's next, right? If you see this title, I'm going to say it right now, right? It is the same title as another YouTuber that I admire and I watch religiously. I'll put their link in the description below because there's other videos that I've actually modeled off of their videos. So Martel, big shout out if you're watching this. But the point is, it is very, very important to, yes, you can copy, you can get really far. But if you're not original, why is someone going to copy, or rather, why is someone going to watch somebody who is a copy of an original? And who would copy a copy, right? Like, think about that. If somebody's copying someone and this other person knows that I'm copying someone, would they copy me or the original person? The truth is, it's going to be the original person. So with that type of understanding, how far can you get by copying? You can get really far, but you got to be original. So this last part is sponsored by me because it really ties in to this exact concept where, imagine you have a Marriott, a Hilton, a Hyatt, a Wyndham, these type of hotels. Now, imagine you have the opportunity to invest into them. Generally, you can't. The average person cannot, not including myself as well. Unless if you know someone, tell me, right? I'm happy to hear more. So fast forward, the originality of this idea, right, versus just copying kind of the famous brands and they'll keep making money, so let's invest alongside them and keep making money. That's awesome, right? But you won't get outsized returns. Why? Because it's known, it's understood. The risk is quantified as how much they've tracked of, hey, how many people are checking in, checking out, in other words, occupancy rate, room rates, so many details, right? So fast forward, I basically am making the deal and bringing it to the market. So the project, it's already started. It's a commercial real estate project. It's a 250 room hotel. Essentially, investments are from $15K up to $3 million USD, depending where you're looking at. But essentially, I was like, listen, you can have land that's owned in your name, so you actually have land, then that's being developed, and on top of that, it's commercial property with cash flows. So you're getting monthly income, literally, as the benefit of you owning this property. And you'd have this hands-off type of feel where it's essentially like passive income because you don't need to care, because basically I manage everything day to day. So more than 50% of the project is backed by myself. And basically, instead of going to the bank and then paying them an interest rate, even before construction, if you would like revenue, right, there's a way instead of your capital just sitting there. So it's basically crowdfunding, debt funding, whichever words you want to say it. But if you're looking to invest right into this opportunity, there's a way for you to get interest because it's like me borrowing from you instead of going to the bank. I can definitely go to the bank, but the project is not about today. I'm thinking years and decades out. So with that, thanks for coming to the end. If you're interested, check out the link in the description below. We can talk one-on-one. Happy to give us all the details. I'll leave a video over here, and we'll see you there. Peace.